Good day, everyone. My name is Nigel Polido, and with me is Mary Claire Ponce and Von Pina. Today, we will present to you the nature and process of writing. So first, the power of writing. Writing can be considered the most effective means of communication because it could promote and perpetuate an idea. We may recall how the ancient forms of writing like the cuneiform and the hieroglyphs, which we can see in Egypt. So, uh, and also the Baybayin, which is our own, that gives us a glimpse of the world in the past. We also document important events by putting them into writing. Indigenous knowledge, skills, and traditions are preserved and perpetuated by codifying or writing them. As important as it is, writing is a skill that needs to be taught effectively. So writing is super important because it helps us share ideas and remember stuff from the past, like ancient languages and important events. It's also how we keep traditions alive, but learning to write well takes practice and good teaching. Moving on, the purposes of teaching writing. So writing is often taken as a task integrated with other communication skills like reading. Harmer 1997, page 79, offered four purposes of teaching writing, namely the reinforcement, language development, learning style, and as a skill of its own. So the first purpose was reinforcement. So reinforcement. Writing helps language learners remember and improve fluency in a new language using multiple senses in learning like writing. It enhances understanding. Writing allows learners to grasp around spelling no one says and remember key concepts from reading or listening. Next purpose is for language development. Learning a language is a process. According to Harmer 1998, writing, like other communication skills, follows procedural steps. Learners must choose topics and consider factors depending on the communication task. Listening, speaking, reading, or writing, these thought processes are part of the language learning experiences. The next purpose is for learning style. Our understanding of Gardner's multiple intelligence theory would tell us that students differ in the way they learn. It suggests that students learn differently. So some excel in receptive activities like listening and reading, while others prefer production activities like speaking and writing. Some may be quiet in discussions, but they're very expressive in writing. Um, no, some of us are like that here in our section. Next purpose is writing as a skill. It has to be taught of for its being. Writing as a skill cannot be acquired or mastered overnight. On a similar note, Graham, MacArthur, and Fitzgerald in 2007 have offered four principles in writing instruction. They reminded us that writing is essential, and as such, we are challenged to do a better job in teaching it. We need to know what skilled writing looks like and must have a collection of effective writing procedure for teaching writing. So the first principle in writing instruction is the essence of writing. Writing is a powerful tool for communication, allowing expression of ideas from simple tasks like recipes to complex, creative or critical forms. It's crucial for assessing language proficiency and academic success. It is becoming essential in daily life. Next is the need for effective writing instruction. Having pointed out the essence of writing, Graham et al. Also emphasizes the need of writing instruction that is grounded on research. They stress that our instructional efforts in this area need to be informed by what is known about the factors that fosters writing development and proven methods for promoting such development. In our context, we are aware that we have fared poorly in national and international language assessment. Among the recent researches regarding our learners' writing skill is the one done by Saavedra in 2020, which abstract revealed the following. Based on their experiences and observations while teaching writing to the pupils here in the Philippines, following was recorded. There is a lack of vocabulary in the target language, difficulty in conveying and organizing ideas. Third is the pupil's perception that writing is a hard task. Fourth is lack of motivation and interest in writing. And fifth, the difficulty in spelling. Grammar and sentence construction are the reasons why many elementary pupils have poor writing skills in English and Filipino. These factors can be attributed to the first language of the pupils, like Chabacano, Cebuano, Ilonggo, where English and Filipinos are considered as L2 only, or the second language. Despite the effort of teachers, they acknowledge that elementary pupils' writing skills still did not meet the standard in writing. Another principle is the knowledge of effective writing. Teachers must possess content and procedural knowledge in teaching writing. Students should become strategic, knowledgeable, and motivated writers, overcoming transcription and construction challenges. Next is the effective writing procedures for teaching writing. Teachers need to explore diverse perspective on writing and writing instruction beyond learners' current skill and context. In this principle, as a teacher, we need to push our students beyond their knowledge. We need to help them discover more that there is beyond what they know in writing. Or so next is the perspectives on the nature of writing and writing instruction. Writing has the power to transform individuals and society, as seen in the works like Noli Me Tangere and the advocacy efforts like Greta Thunberg Segelski in 2018. It outlines 4 facets of writing: the communication, participation, learning, and self-understanding. Our perception of writing shapes our teaching methods, while some view it as personal and require specific conditions for inspiration. Effective writing is a skill honed through consistent practice. There are 2 major schools of thought in viewing writing instruction. Writing as a cognitive ability versus writing as a sociological phenomenon, and writing as a product versus writing as a process. First is writing as a cognitive ability versus writing as a sociological phenomenon. Cognitive ability. To view writing as a cognitive ability means taking into account both writing ability and linguistic proficiency of the learner. Weigel, 2014. Writing ability encompasses skills in the writing process, such as topic selection, idea generation, organization, and refining structure and style. Language proficiency involves knowledge of linguistic elements like vocabulary, grammar, and syntax, whether it is the first language or their second language. So writing as a sociological phenomenon. Weigel 2014 defines writing as a purposeful communication directed at a specific audience, influenced by cultural and societal contexts. As teachers, we must teach children that writing is part of broader literacy practices within the course communities, each with its own rules and expectations. Next is writing as a product versus writing as a process. Writing as a product This approach focuses on the final output of students' writing, emphasizing the correctness in grammar and structure. It is also known as the genre writing approach, which considers writing as having a specific style, audience, and purpose. Genres include journal writing, biographical writing, letter writing, and various others. Zakim 2018. Zakim 2018 finds this approach time efficient because it prioritizes accuracy, allowing teachers to focus on correcting specific skills. Teachers using this approach often provide model texts for analysis and templates for writing, followed by the controlled writing activities. Now, writing as a process, this view takes into account the different stages as a way of developing writing skills. Stages of writing as a process, according to Langan 2014, page 41, involves 5 basic steps, namely the pre-writing, organizing, ideas or outlining the paper, drafting, revising, and editing. So pre-writing, this step involves choosing the topic and generation of ideas for writing. Choosing a topic is vital, especially within limited class time. So as a teacher, guide students to pick topics they know and care about, ensuring they're narrow enough for the allotted time. So, Langan suggests 4 pre-writing activities: pre-writing, listing, brainstorming, and clustering. The next step is organizing ideas. At this stage, we help teachers to plan or outline the ideas generated during the pre-writing. The next step is writing the draft. This involves developing the key ideas outlined in previous stage. The fourth step is revising. I mean, the fifth step rather is revising. Effective writers review their work to revise content and structure, ensuring coherence and development of ideas. And six, editing. This stage prepares the writing for final submission, focusing on polishing grammar, mechanics, style, and formatting as required. With these processes in mind, we need to remind our students that effective writing considers the subject, the audience, and purpose in order to put the message across. By Langan 2008. So first, the subject. The subject is what we want to talk or write about, requiring the substantial collection of ideas gained through reading, observation, and listening. Effective writers are avid readers, keen observers, and sensitive listeners, ensuring a constant flow of ideas. Next is purpose. Writers use their ideas purposefully to inform, persuade, or entertain their audience. The writing purpose guides organization, language choice, length, and style of presentation. It determines how ideas are arranged and the language used to convey them. Audience. Writers consider their audience, whether it's a teacher, peers, or others sharing a common interest. Audience characteristics such as age, profession, culture, and gender influence topic selection, presentation style, and language used in writing. So next is mechanics of writing. Writing in a second language starts with grasping the writing system and mechanics, which can be challenging for learners navigating between their mother tongue and English as their second language. Stein in 2014 lists the following mechanics of writing. The first one is letter recognition. Letter recognition is the ability to distinguish a letter from the other letters in the alphabet and is a foundation in learning to read and write the language. For example, a Filipino learner who has memorized the alphabet song may not necessarily know the symbol of each letter when it's removed its regular sequence. Next mechanic is the letter discrimination. Letter discrimination is the ability to distinguish similar looking letters like B and D or letters like P and F. The next mechanic is sound to letter correspondence. This mechanic in writing refers to the matching of the sound with the letters or symbol. English phonetics can be a challenge to Filipino learners because they have sounds or phonemes that do not correspond with their sound. Example given is the f sound being spelled as GH in the word laugh, and the voiced and voiceless TH in though and thought. Next mechanic is word recognition. The complex sound to letter correspondence often results in the learner's problem in word recognition, which is the ability to quickly identify and read the written word. And lastly, the basic rules of spelling. Basic rules of spelling, an effective writer demonstrates fluency in spelling. But to some of our learners, this could be a tedious task, especially if they have not mastered the first four of these mechanics. Aside from understanding the complex mechanics of writing our target language, we also need to learn the writing system itself, which according to Olstein 2014 can be classified as either meaning-based or sound-based. Meaning-based system can be exemplified by the Chinese and Japanese kanji, where the graphic character represents real-world meaning. The sound-based system, like the English language, uses the alphabet where the symbol represents a sound. It is also crucial to know the writing system directions that affect the way we learn writing. Some languages are written in columns, like Chinese and Japanese, or from right to left, like Arabic, or from left to right, like Filipino and English.
Hello everyone, for today I am going to discuss the lesson 2, which is lesson design and strategies in teaching writing. Teaching writing requires careful planning, whether we use the product or process approach or a combination of these approaches. So, we need to design our writing instruction judiciously. Kroll, as cited in Weigel, list the essential tasks of a writing teacher. These are designing or implementing a syllabus, planning the individual classroom session, providing opportunity for writing, and responding to that writing. So, for the first one, letter A feasible scope of the writing task, requires us to think through the writing task by looking at the needs of our learners and their background. We must give them writing tasks that they can manage in the terms of breadth and depth. So, when designing writing tasks for learners, it is important to consider their needs and backgrounds. The task should be tailored to their abilities and allow them to effectively engage with the content. This means taking into account the learner's proficiency level, prior knowledge, and linguistic skills. It is crucial to strike a balance between the breadth and the depth of the task. The task should be challenging enough to promote growth and learning, but not so overwhelming that they become discouraging. By carefully considering the learner's ability and providing appropriate writing tasks, we can ensure that they are able to effectively manage and succeed in their writing endeavors. Letter B. A writing task that promotes academic integrity. We need to prepare writing prompts or assignment that deter the students from plagiarizing written outputs. When preparing prompts or assignment, it is essential to create an environment that discourages students from plagiarizing written outputs. To achieve this, it is important to design prompts that require original thought and personal reflection rather than summarizing existing content. Prompts should be encourage critical thinking, analysis, and creativity. Additionally, providing clear guidelines and expectation for citing sources and acknowledging other works is crucial. By emphasizing the importance of academic integrity and fostering a supportive learning environment, we can deter students from resorting to plagiarism and promote authentic writing practices. C. The suitable scaffold for the given task. Wilfong said that a teacher should not assign writing without previous work in the genre, having students write without exposing them to readings from the genre, nor having writing be an isolated, individual's activity in your classroom. So according to Wilfong, it is important for teachers to follow certain practices when assigning writing tasks. Firstly, teachers should not assign writing without providing students with prior exposure to the genre they will be working in. This means giving students opportunity to familiarize themselves with examples of writing from the particular genre. Secondly, it is crucial to have students engage with readings from the genre before they begin writing. This helps develop a deeper understanding from the genre's conventions, style, and content. And finally, writing should not be treated as an isolated individual activity in the classroom. Teachers should encourage collaborative writing experience where students can engage in discussions, peer reviews, and group activities related to the writing task. By incorporating these practices, teachers can provide a well-rounded and supportive environment for students to develop their writing skills effectively. D. A specified topic, genre, and purpose. We may negotiate topics with our learners, but to avoid frustration upon checking their outputs, we need to be clear in the genre and propose that we want our students to write about. While it is important to negotiate topics with learners to foster their engagement, it is equally crucial to provide clarity regarding the genre and specific writing expectations. By clearly stating the genre that we want students to write about, we help them understand the required format, style, and content. This clarity prevents frustration when assessing their outputs and ensure that students meet the intended learning objectives. Effective communication and transparency regarding genre expectation enables a smoother writing process and promote meaningful learning experience for learners. E. A clear rubric for evaluation. A well-defined rubric guides the learners in accomplishing their writing tasks. So, by providing specific criteria and expectation for assessments, it helps the students to understand what is required and allows them to self-assess and make necessary improvements. F. A reasonable set of deadlines. We need to give them a feasible scope and we also have to set realistic deadlines. We can set deadlines in stage to provide immediate feedback on their outputs and avoid severe errors in content and organization. To support learners in their writing tasks, it is important to establish a feasible scope and set realistic deadlines. By defining the scope, we ensure that the writing task is manageable and within the learner's capabilities. This helps prevent overwhelm and promotes a focused approach. Furthermore, setting realistic deadlines allows for timely feedback. By breaking down the task into stages, we can provide immediate feedback on their outputs, addressing any severe errors in content and organization early on. Another part in the planning and implementation of writing syllabus is the articulation of learning outcomes or learning objectives. We may learn the value of behavioral objectives and even the acronym SMART. So, the acronym SMART stands for S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for time-bound objectives. These concepts are important in articulating learning outcomes or objectives for writing instructions because they do not only specify the context, the way of teaching it, and the way of monitoring and evaluating performance. Designing the lessons for writing. Number 1. Writing instruction for beginners. Teaching L2 writing for beginners require understanding the context of the learner. For instance, we need to know if they already have skills set like producing the linguistic codes, writing conventions, and writing mechanics. We may also consider if and when we teach spelling and handwriting. For learners who are beginning to learn L2 writing, teachers must offer plenty of instructions for accuracy. But they should also engage the learners in different stages of writing process. So for the letter A, engaging activities, writing as a skill can be developed through constant and correct practice. And we might also agree that learning happens best when more senses are involved. So, we can engage our learners in writing activities that do not necessarily confine them on their desk with their pencil and pen. Beginners who have to learn letter cognition and letter discrimination can trace letters, write on the air, or use their body movements to describe a letter or spell a word. Letter B. Developmental instructions. It may be tempting to teach writing at an early stage using the product approach because it is easier to check and time efficient. However, experts have strongly recommended the use of process approach even at the earliest stage in the teaching of writing. They have proven that the draft revise final output is less effective compared to the plan draft revise rewrite process of writing. The cursive pattern of the process approach helps the learners to develop not only the habit of planning and organizing, but also the ability to monitor their own writing skill, similar to the metacognition skill in reading. Letter C. Conducive environment. Experts consider it a serious offense to require learners to write on topics without proper context. As teacher of writing, it is best to incite students to write by providing not only motivation, but also the scaffold to write effectively. This could be done by providing plenty of varied reading materials of that could serve as their source or model of content and opportunities for authentic writing. Greetings or dedication corner, where students can write message for each other. Now let's go on to the number 2, writing instruction for intermediate and advanced learners. Writing teachers of intermediate and advanced learners must help students understand the relevance of writing not only in fluency in the target language, but also in learning successful other subjects. Knowing that writing is both a social act and developmental cognitive task, teachers can raise the students' awareness of the different writing tasks they have to hurdle in academic settings. Newell Kokis and Boster 2007 asserted that importance of writing as a school of learning so that teachers have to engage the learners in the writing tasks commonly required in other disciplines. So under the writing instructions for intermediate and advanced learners, we have note-taking, reporting, summarizing, analyzing, journal writing, and creative writing. So for the note-taking, a skill in extracting and recording relevant information from different types of text for future use. So for the reporting, it is an ability to recount and write the events that transpired, for instance, in a laboratory experiment, field trip, or group activity. Summarizing, a skill in looking for patterns across a range of events and ideas, representing information most concisely. For the analyzing, an ability to break down ideas, note details, and determine relationships and causality. Journal writing often means for self-expression and reflection. And lastly, creative writing. Literary writing such as short stories and poetry that provides personal and imaginative ways of exploring ideas and experiences. So for designing the lessons for writing, whether the writing instruction is task or genre-based, we need to motivate our learners to write and help them write effectively. We could use the following instructional tips. For reading-writing connections, reading can help provide context and content for writing. We can encourage our learners to write effectively by providing model text to read and emulate or reading materials that they can analyze, react, or reflect on. For strategy instruction, strategy as defined by Graham refers to the course of action for accomplishing a specific objectives. This requires to have a clear purpose or goal, the procedural knowledge in accomplishing the task, and the will to embark on the designated course of an action and the effort to see it through. For peer or collaborative writing, Yagelski assist For peer collaborative writing, Yagelski asserted that writing is a social activity because writers often have an audience in mind and other readers who respond to or assess their written outputs. As a teachers, we can develop this awareness of the audience reader among our students by engaging them in a peer or collaborative activities. For utilization of technology support, we cannot overemphasize the value of technology in teaching writing. Our learners are now exposed to multimodal text and they sometimes find the physical act of traditional writing difficult or tiring. Teachers can allow students to use word processors to deal with illegible handwriting of their learners. So for the scaffold in teaching writing, the scaffold in teaching writing are supportive structures or strategies that assist learners in the writing process. These scaffolds, such as graphic organizers, sentence starters, model text, and peer collaboration, provide guidance and helps students to develop their writing skills by organizing their thoughts, providing structure, and fostering collaboration and feedback. So for teaching writing mechanics, it encompasses various aspects including tracing letters, forming words, and constructing sentence. This multi-phased approach aims to develop students' foundational skills in handwriting, spelling, and sentence structure. As they progress, they move on to forming words where they apply their letter knowledge to construct meaningful units. Finally, students learn to build coherent sentence by understanding grammar rules, punctuation, and sentence organization. By integrating these components, students develop a solid foundation in writing mechanics, enabling them to communicate effectively through written expression. So in teaching planning in writing, we can help our learners to have a pleasant experience. They need assistance in choosing the topic, saying something about the topic they have chosen, finding focus and support to the claims they make, and making their voice visible on their writing. But among these stages, it is important to motivate learners to write through the scaffold that we provide. Rewriting is writing without restriction, writing down everything that comes to mind or feeling about the topic and about the act of writing itself. So rewriting is a form of writing that embraces freedom and unrestricted expression. It involves putting down on a paper or typing out everything that comes to mind or is felt about particular topic or the act of writing itself. In this process, there are no limitations or constraints on what can be written. It encourages the flow of thoughts and emotions to judgment or censorship. Writing allows writers to explore their ideas, delve into their creativity, and discover new perspectives. For the questioning is similar to brainstorming and is one of the easiest way to generate ideas or writing because it is like talking to oneself or finding answers to your questions. So questioning helps to stimulate critical thinking, spark curiosity, and uncover hidden insights. It encourages writers to delve deeper into their subject matter and consider various aspects before formulating their ideas. So as I mentioned earlier, questioning is like talking to oneself or finding answers to your questions. So these are the examples of questioning. Why did I choose this course? Did I choose this myself or did someone influence me to take this up? What benefits do I get from taking up this course? What career opportunities does this course offer? So these are the example questions for the questioning. For the clustering, clustering is collecting or grouping ideas related to our chosen topic. We guide our students in putting their chosen topic at the center and then drawing a circle or a box for every related ideas and connecting these ideas with a line like the one shown in the following figure. So we can see in the screen that the main idea here is information communication technology. So the other related ideas of it are source for news, questionable, computer, smartphones. So, any topics related to smartphones are social network sites, and the other ideas that related to social network sites are Twitter and Instagram, emails, and Facebook. So, these are the ideas that connecting